Hi, John. How you doing? Thank you so much for the resubmission. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, much better. Yes, indeed. Yeah, but yes, I still have a couple of comments. Let me get that out of the way so it's not so distracting. Okay, a couple of comments though. So, all right, so you've got this. Let me just zoom in here a little bit. You got this. You got a lot of text effects on your headline and your subhead. And while text effects are a lot of fun, definitely, they're not utilitarian and something that we typically don't use a whole heck of a lot in professional design. Back in the day, when Photoshop was still, relatively new, and I'm talking back about, 8, 10 years ago or so, you saw a lot of text effects being used in professional work because it was new and it was shiny and it was, the latest and the greatest. But, as we've come to realize that it's just another gimmick, it's just another tool in our toolbox, and it's not necessary to add flash to type just because you can. Okay, so for that reason, I would recommend taking the effects off the typeface. Also, if you're stroking the typeface, which let me see, I thought it looked like. No, you haven't. It's just those effects. So, okay, take a look next week for an announcement on stroking typeface, which is highly not recommended in design. Okay, good mechanics, good job. This whole area is much better. Let's start from the top. Okay, headline looks good. It's too high and too close to the upper left-hand corner. Watch my cursor. Place the headline right here. Okay, left align, something like this. Okay, there's your headline. Okay, then left align, there's your subhead, like you have it now. Okay, then, so, you can start here. I mean, I know you don't want the type to cross her face, and I get that, and I agree. But I think you're too high in the composition right now. So headline, subhead, and then that little bit of body copy. Okay, make sure you're all in alignment there too. So that body copy, don't place it in a box. You try not to place things in boxes as you're designing composition. That's something that students really want to do, but something that in professional design we typically don't, because we want to keep a nice symbiotic relationship between the type and the background. So therefore, we don't want to place things in boxes as much as we want to have a relationship with the background itself. Okay, so that's going to mean that moving this type is going to mean you might have to change the color. And so be it. If you do, it'll work. Oh, okay, all that leaves is the bottom of the page. Now, in the nature of the image itself, as I'm guessing the reason you don't want to increase the size of the image itself is because to fit the size of the page is because it's too much is going to get cut off the sides, and that's a valid concern. So this is a perfectly viable option. However, in this situation, you've done this again. You've altered the logo, which you don't ever want to do in design. The logo is the logo. You can't touch it. You can't extend the background. You can't remove back unless it's part of the accepted logo, which you can receive in a style guide. You can't add parts to the background. You can't lay things over the logo. You can't remove parts of the background, as we see here, where this background has been extended and added a gradient. So what I would recommend here is just use the purple logo right there, which ends right there, right? Something like that. And then recompose your type and then leave your type white down there. Okay, now that type looks like it might be bold. If it is, change it to regular type. You may have to go to 4 lines instead of 3 because of the way that this just really sticks out here, creating some really unusual negative space around that. So you could go Amethyst Bay, next line 716 Amethyst Bay Boulevard, next line St. Thomas VI, and then you could actually even go St. Thomas Virgin Islands, then the telephone number on the same line as that, and then the URL. Okay, so those would be my recommendations, but it's definitely moving in the right direction. So really good job. Thank you so much for sharing.